With more than 105,000 cases, Nigeria is currently experiencing the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected several activities, hindered many businesses and even learning in the country. However, the government has announced that schools should reopen and resume academic activities on the 18th of January, and also they should also follow COVID-19 protocols. Well, is this a right move by the government in a situation where there are increasing number of COVID-19 cases? Ekohotblog is on the streets of Lagos to hear people's view on this issue. Do stay with us.
From my own point of view, the fact is that the COVID-19 is very real, but at the same time, we are in a computer village or in a global village, so to say. I believe that government on their own part, they cannot keep the students at home for long because we never know the time that this pandemic will still be on. So what we need to do is just the fact that we need to introduce technology. So it's going to be a 60-40 thing from the parent, and the parent need to cooperate with the school management and the government in order to see that the students are not lagging behind, because if you check the calendar has been disrupted since last year. So they cannot continue to keep the students at home.
It's good as the school resumes today because most of our children, they are playful. They are not doing anything when they are at home. And it's not all the parents that are able to pay for the online classes. So it's good as they resume back to school. All we just need to do as parents, that we should let them know all the precautions, as in to wash their hands, to use their sanitizer. Like in my son's school, they have to send to the parent that we should give them their own cutlery. They should not share. And at the same time, they should wash their hands regularly. But we thank God for the resumption. All we need to do is just to be praying for them, for God's guidance and protection over our children.
You know, the students, they've lost almost a year. So it's good for them to resume. And the only advice I have is that the teachers or the school, the teachers or the school as a whole, they should monitor the children. The students. Let them follow the safety protocols. For keeping them at home, they are still going out to work. Some of them, they are not staying indoor. They still go out to play. So they let them lose out their academic year, another year again, because that year is gone. So this is another year. Let them resume. It's good. It's a good move. But my own advice is that let them follow the safety protocols by guiding the children, especially the pupils below tertiary institution. Let them guide them. So they still want to mix with their friends. They've mixed one another for long. Let them guide them to obey the safety protocols.
It's a good move. Reason why is that when the students, when they are at home, it affects them psychologically. And they have resumed school today, then their memory began to come back. They began to memorize what they have been taught in school. They began to practice what they have been taught in school. Then their parents have begun to feel relief. And other people who have made use of them at home, for instance, sexual abuse. Because they have been at home, there have been some record of sexual abuse or sexual violence. Because they are at home. Because they are at home, the issue when they carry the NSAS protests, they wouldn't have made use of them. So, but since they have resumed now, they become productive to the society.
I think it's a good move for students to resume. Yeah, it depends on the school. I think so. Yeah, they can handle it. For private school, I know they are able.
Yeah, it's good. It's good as they resume today. Yeah, it's good. It's the only thing that we must protect ourselves. Nobody pray for bad to happen to our children. Do you understand? We must protect them. But it's good as they resume today.
Yeah, the COVID-19 cases are rampant these days. In fact, the numbers are on the rise. So sending children to schools now without adequate preparation and facilities in the schools, it's endangering the lives of those children and students. So I don't think it's the right move. Most schools do not have those facilities, like those. They may not be able to maintain those hygiene steps. Yes, some do not even have enough aid, like if a child is sick or is feeling or somehow, Most of those schools do not have those facilities. So anyway, what the NCDC should do is maybe they should deploy task forces to be inspecting schools. Those that are not up to the task, they can close them for some time.
I think it's the right move. The government has shut down the economy last year for quite a very long time, and it affected businesses, school, and so many other things. Especially the tertiary institution, they have been at home for almost a year now. So I think if we shut down everything and business is not moving, there's no school, we might die from from starvation and all that stuff before the corona kills us.
To my own point of view, I could say that, we cannot just be keeping the students at home. We tell them that they should not resume back to school. When we look at it, that the COVID is increasing, yes, we agreed. But these students, they are not really keeping to the law while they are at home. They play on the street, go to the market setup. There are mothers that go to market to buy things. You see these people that sell things, they don't comply with all these cover your nose, you rushing everywhere. Go to bus stop, everywhere is jam-packed. But when you look at the school setup, the students, they are there to learn. So when the teachers control them, they tell them, don't do this, don't do this, they comply. For example, those small children, by the time the teacher says, don't get up from where you are sitting down, don't remove your nose mask, they will not want to be beaten. So they will comply with it. They will comply with it and say, no, they will not remove it. So I think in the school premises, we can control it better than even outside. Because majority of the parents, they don't even know the meaning because they said there is no COVID.
Well, certainly not. You can see the surge. It's actually spreading like wildfire. You send a child to a public place such as schools, when they mingle up and exchange hands and exchange meals, the risk is enormous. All right. So I, for one, I will certainly not allow my child, even if the government, they have the onus to do whatever they want to do, but I'll certainly not release my child out there, to mingle up with other children. But in reality, as it stands right now, if you seek my own advice, seriously, this is not the right time for schools to resume.
See, whether they delay the resumption or not, COVID-19 is here. So we need to learn to adjust to it. So whether the school resumes today or school resumes next month, it's still the same thing. Because when they stayed at home, we still had that the virus was still spreading. Then which people were spreading it? That should be the question. So in my own opinion, school resuming today does not really change anything. The only thing there is that government should have task forces that goes to schools to ensure that these COVID-19 measures are put in place.
In my own opinion, I think school should resume. So because the COVID-19 is a setback thing, and it's like, if you say school shouldn't resume, it's like someone falling without rising again. You get me? So students should resume since there is a safety protocols being put in place for students as it's being done in the offices. So the same thing should apply in schools for students to resume.
I want the children to resume because staying at home will not help them. They have left so many things behind. The school will provide all what they need, like water, sanitizer and soap and so on and so forth, to be able to take care of themselves.
It's really good. It's necessary that these students should resume. The only advice is the schools should ensure that all the necessary government directive as to in respect of the COVID-19 should be properly and strictly observed and followed by all schools so that the pandemic will not affect the students. But it's very important because the students have been home for a long time.
There's no need for them to stay back at home. It's been a long time they've been at home, so it is the right time for them to return. We don't live in the world of fear. We live in the world of faith. Even the water we drink is by faith. So let everybody resume back to their work.
The children going back to school today, they should now use their preventive measures like this nose mask, social distance, washing of hands, and so on and so forth. And also the school authorities, they should make it work. Because a lot of the students, they come without face masks. And even when they come to the school with face masks, when they are going out, they will not use it. So if the measures are put in place, it is a very good thing.
I don't want to be judgmental about government asking the pupils to resume today. What is confusing me there is government asked officers of level 13 and below to stay at home, and you are asking pupils to go to the school. At the same time, can we ask these pupils not to study? Look at the number of time they have wasted because of COVID. So it's really a very confusing situation. I will not blame the people who are taking decisions now, but I think there is need for proper review and to revisit how we are going to manage COVID so that it's going to be part of our life. It's not going to be distorting things. It's really very confusing. Expectedly, because the end result of COVID is either disease or death. It's either of the two. It's either you survive it or you don't survive. So it's better for somebody to take precautions. If the medical people have told us what to do to avoid fatality, we just have to follow it. The school administrators should be very strict about it, and the parents should help as well. It's not something anybody can avoid.
We've heard people's view on the resumption of school activities in the country. Many say it's high time students go back to school, while others say it's time they stay back at home because of the increasing number of COVID-19 cases in the country. Well, that's all we can take for today. Remember, you can drop your comments on our YouTube platform at ekohotblog. And remember to follow us on all social media handles at ekohotblog. My name is Bolawale Adiboye. Bye for now.